we're pouring water into a bathtub that has a giant hole ripped in the bottom.
Hey guys, how's it hanging? All right, so I know I wasn't able to do this yesterday when the town hall was actually up, but I wanted to let the dust settle so I can actually process a lot of this stuff. And there's a couple clips that I want to share, but I'm kind of late on the Fox News clip. I kind of want to get that out there of him being on Fox and Friends. But we're going to do this one first because CNN just blatantly smears him. Just they can't let go of the white supremacist stuff. And we're going to roll the clip, and we're going to show you, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, we're going to have a few more of these clips coming out, and well, let's roll the clip. You'll see.
It's our best path forward to hopefully convince people that there is no place for hate in the United States of America.
Mr. Yang, you may know that white nationalists are supporting you online. They seem to have seized on some of your statements, which they say are proof that you are particularly concerned about white people. Why do you think they're drawn to your candidacy?
You know, it's been a point of confusion because I don't look much like a white nationalist. The closest thing we could come up with for it was that I retweeted the New York Times saying that that Americans are dying of opiates in record numbers, so much so that more people are dying than being born in various communities. And those communities were largely white communities in the Midwest and the South. So I've completely disavowed any of that support. I don't want the support of anyone who has any kind of agenda that's different than the agenda of this campaign. And our slogan is humanity first. We're trying to solve the problems and improve the lives for tens of millions of Americans.
In your book, you do say the group I worry about most is poor whites. Why are you most concerned about that group, poor whites?
Well, in the context of my book, I was suggesting, to Constance's point, like, how is this tribalism and violence going to manifest itself? And so the group I was most worried about was poor whites who felt like they had no future, and then that violence would emerge in large part because that group would become increasingly angry and distressed. And so that's the context of the book. But I am most concerned about that group in terms of the nationalism that Constance was describing.
All right, let's turn back to our audience questions. Our next guest here is...
Now, for the most part, I'll have to say that it's typical CNN. You know, they obviously aren't in favor of Andrew Yang right before he's supposed to go live. They miraculously at the very last minute switched his airtime to an hour later. So you had a massive spike in audience at the time he was supposed to be there, which would mean a big audience would be introduced to him, right? Because a lot of people's heard about the UBI now. And then all of a sudden, boom, the audience dropped by half, and the numbers just didn't really come back up that much. So, it was obvious what they're trying to do. And for the most part, he took control. He commanded this town hall. He took control of it, and he nailed every single question. And I'll cover that in a different video, his confidence. But that didn't stop them from smearing him, as you see with this white supremacist stuff. They can't let it go. And how many times does they have to answer that, right? How many times does he have to answer that? He's done it on Chris Hayes. We've done that one. He's done it on AM Joy. He's done it on countless shows, on the internet and the mainstream, cable networks. So how many more times is he going to have to say that before you guys just let it go? You're going to keep bringing it up and keep bringing it up, and he's going to keep denouncing it and keep denouncing it. Like, what is your goal? Why are you doing that? And for anybody out there saying, well, it's just a tough question that anybody would ask. No, you go ask anybody out there. Have you heard of Andrew Yang? Oh, yeah, he's that Asian guy talking about UBI. They don't say, oh, yeah, he's that Asian guy who's a white supremacist. No, they don't freaking say that. It's not a thing. He went on Joe Rogan podcast. He went on Sam Harris podcast. And some people in 4chan made a couple memes because he's literally the opposite of Donald Trump. So just let it go. Just let it go. That's all I'm saying. Just let it go, CNN. Just let it go. It's not that big of a deal. You're obviously partisan, and you're trying to make it seem like you're giving everybody a fair chance since the DNC got screwed up, and then everybody tried to blame it on Russia and Donald Trump, when really, if the DNC just didn't cheat Bernie out of the election, then they wouldn't be in the water that they're in now, and they wouldn't look like such scumbags every single time they're trying to blatantly smear somebody. It's obviously agenda-driven, and it's just... My blood pressure's rising, so we're going to end the video, right? And I'm going to work on some of these other videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. That's all for now.
So universal basic income. My initial knee-jerk reaction was, get the fuck out of here.
I'm immensely grateful to everyone who's gotten this campaign to this point, and you haven't seen nothing yet. I mean, we're going to go very, very far together.